scared or embarrassed. And those reasons are usually that these people aren't good people. And if that's the case, they're not your friends, and that's not who I'm talking about. I'm talking about people you trust, people who you're actually friends with. If you're not willing to show them your content, why? Are you really proud of what you're creating? If you're really proud of what you're creating, then you should be able to show your friends and your family what you're doing. And at the end of the day, if you're really putting the effort in and you're still scared, you just need to take a leap of faith. Because streaming is all about putting yourself out there. You can't grow as a streamer, you can't enjoy streaming really unless you put yourself out there. You have to be open to failures, you have to be open to people coming in and trolling you. It's just a part of live streaming, sadly. Take a leap of faith, put effort into your content, and when you're proud, show it to your friends and family. That said, I know this is going to sound hypocritical. There's no way I'm ever showing my mum my live stream, and if she ever sees clips of what I do for a living, I am going to be in for an earful. I think she'd rather I do probably adult films. So, on to the next point. You need to create talking points. You need to plan out your content. Now, this is something I've mentioned a lot, but you need to talk. And before you say, oh, but I don't have a chat, YouTubers who do gameplay or other things have been talking to themselves for years. Yes, they can edit it afterwards, but they still have to, while they're recording, talk to themselves. If they can do it with practice and confidence, then that's all it is for you as well. Practice and confidence. If you're scared to do it while you're offline first. Just do it while you're playing a game in your office or your bedroom or anything like that. And then when you do go live, just keep practicing, just keep that confidence. The reason this is so important is because you need to be talking about stuff, you need to be engaging, happy, so when someone drops in, they're instantly engaged with you and they're not just staring at a person sitting there silently as they play a game waiting for that little 0 to turn into a 1. Even though these days I have a pretty active chat, I will still plan out all of my content as if I will not have anyone talking whatsoever. I have a little notebook that I write jokes in, that I wrote funny tips in, that I write stories that I want to talk about in, things I saw on Reddit that I thought were interesting, just anything. Just get a little notebook and start writing down the things that you're passionate about, the things that are unique to you, the things that you will actually be able to talk about naturally. That said, if it's anime body pillows, maybe don't talk about that, because that can be a bit weird when you're trying to grow. Maybe talk about something like sandwiches. I don't know. Just steer clear of the weird stuff. I'm going to throw out a little tip here for you that one of the big reasons I think a lot of people struggle to keep talking is they're playing games that there really isn't anything to talk about. After the 5th Call of Duty Warzone round, what are you supposed to talk about anymore? Oh, good kill. Oh, I'm in the gulag. All right, cool. Play something like Skyrim or Fallout. Get yourself a follower who's going to say things and talk to you and randomly bring up complaints. And then you just bounce off them and keep talking at them as if they're a real person. YouTubers, as I said, have done this for years, and it works great when live streaming, especially with a slow chat. You go into a cinematic and someone's yelling about something and you just throw little one-liners out there and reply to them. It's a good way to keep yourself talking, it's a good way to practice, and it feels a lot less lonely. As I said, plan out your content, play games where you can chat, and keep yourself talking, because at the end of the day, Twitch is very slow to update that little 0 to a 1, and it's very slow to update that users that are in chatting list. So keep yourself going so that when someone does drop in, they're engaged and they're good to go. I'm about to cover view count and being engaging in a second in detail, but first I just want to throw it out there. If this video has helped you out at all, I'd really recommend checking out some of my other content. I have content on how to make your mic sound good, I have content on mistakes a lot of streamers make, how to pick good games, all of it. And if those videos help you out, maybe consider subscribing. It really helps us out, and we've got more videos coming weekly. So there are some things about Twitch you just can't control. You can put in hard work, you can ask people to drop by, you can create amazing content, but sometimes at the end of the day, you're gonna have 0 viewers in your Twitch stream. You just can't control it. So what I recommend doing when it comes to your view count and your 0 little number there is turn it off, hide it. If you don't know how to, just stick a little bit of blue tack over that little part of the screen. Stop staring at it. It will throw you off so much. I never turned it off. I wish I did turn it off. These days, I sit there and I still get anxious about it. If I'm sitting at 90, I'll be like, why am I at 100? I know it sounds ridiculous, but view count will always freak you out. Hide it, turn it off, don't look at it. Stream as if you have 10 viewers, 100 viewers. Stream as if you're streaming to the best audience ever. Just stream with confidence. Speaking of being critical about your view count and how detrimental it is, I just want to throw it out there that people who tell you to stop being critical of yourself and just to keep up doing what you're doing are kind of wrong. You need to be critical of yourself. You need to want to improve. You see tweets from Mr. Beast or these giant streamers all the time saying, hey, do you have some feedback about what I could do to improve my content? These are huge content creators and they want advice from everyone. They want tips because there's a little bit of information in every single one. So be critical of yourself. As I said, there are a lot of things you can't control, but at the end of the day, you can control how good your audio is, how good your visuals are, how much content you plan, what games you play. You can control a lot of different things, and I want you to go back and watch your VOD and be very critical of yourself. Is your lighting good enough? Are you really putting the effort in? I do it all the time, sometimes too much, and I really mess with myself, but at the same time, it's one of the reasons why I'm constantly growing. Oh, I don't like how my webcam looks there, I need to add a light here. Why does my audio sound like that? My audio was fine last stream, what changed? I need to fix it. You can control a lot of different things, and it's important to be critical of your failures so that you can improve them and become better. If you fell into your own stream and you were watching it, how long would you stay? Click through your VOD. When you click to a random spot, are you talking? Are you being engaging? Be really honest with yourself, make notes, and try and grow. Don't stop yourself with fear just because you're not doing something right. We're all beginners at some point. Just look, be critical, and improve, and then be happy about the fact that you're trying to improve. Because that's amazing. If you're watching this video, it means you want to improve, and that is awesome. At the end of the day, the only way to grow your stream is to be critical of yourself and to keep pushing forward in a positive and confident way. Speaking of positivity and confidence, I'm going to talk about quickly something that I still struggle to do. I sometimes get very negative on my stream, or I get very wrapped up in my own head. Try and avoid this. If you're hyped, your audience will be hyped. If you're sad, your audience will be sad. Pretty much your chat is a reflection of you when you stream. So you need to keep it positive, keep it hyped, and then they'll be positive and they'll be hyped. It's very easy to get wrapped up in your fears about your view count or a failure in a game. Just keep smiling, keep that confidence, and you'll be fine. That's less for you guys and more for me, but hopefully it helps someone who's watching as well. Finally, my last and most important tip of the entire video, and it's more important than keeping yourself talking, it's more important than anything else. It's about engaging the people who do join your chat. If someone does join and say hi, talk to them. Ask them how their day's been. Why did they find this category? How'd they find you? What do they do for a living? Maybe don't dox them, but actively engage with them, connect with them. Because you're not a huge streamer yet. You're a small streamer. And that means one-to-one interaction is something you have that others can't do. Use this to your advantage and grow a community, not just a bunch of random viewers who have followed you and never come back. If you're streaming but not building a one-to-one bond with your community or chatters when they rock up, then you're never going to grow your average viewers because they're never going to come back, even if they follow you. A follow pretty much means nothing unless you engage that person on a one-to-one level. It's just how it is. Building this kind of culture in your stream is crucial. I've said it before and I'll say it again until the end of time. If you engage someone who joins your chat on a one-to-one level, they will most likely become a community member. But if you inspire your community members to engage new chatters themselves, they will always become a community member. Because at the end of the day, people who are joining Twitch just want to find mates who can hang out, have a chat, and watch something. So if they join a chat and like 5 people say to them, "Hey, what's up? How are you?" they're going to stick around. It's just the truth. So I'm going to give you a secret bonus tip right now. If you can get a few friends to join your chat, and when someone else joins and starts talking, if those friends engage with that person and chat with that person and make them feel welcome, your average viewers will grow in a rapid way. Seriously, it will do you wonders, and it's very, very important. Try it out. So there are all my tips today. I'm going to throw it out there that if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing, liking, checking out our other content. We produce videos weekly, and I'm really having fun with it. The comments you guys are leaving are really, really nice. It makes me feel like I'm actually doing something to help out a lot of people, and I feel like I'm adding a fresh spin, hopefully. So let me know. See you next week.
OBS Studio is one of the most powerful streaming programs available, and there are a lot of features that content creators might not know about. Today, I want to teach you 20 tips and tricks that I've learned over the years to help you step up your streaming game. Hello, my name is Pixel. Today I'm going to teach you about all the little features that make OBS Studio stand out from all the other streaming softwares. If you want, I stream over at twitch.tv/pixelperfect with a 1 instead of an I. Now for today's demonstration, I am going to be using 26.0.2, so make sure you're updated to that version so you get all the features that I'm going to be explaining today. And with that, let's hop into it. Okay, so the first thing that I want to show you in OBS, and this is a fresh install on my computer. Just wanted to show you that. So everything you'll see here is set to default. I've only added a couple sources over here to make the explanation process a little easier. So with a fresh install on OBS, the first thing that it does is go to dark mode. But originally, OBS never supported dark mode. That was brought out in an earlier time, but you can actually select different theme colors. So if you don't like that, you can go to black and blue. You can do the regular grayscale dark mode. You can do Rachni, which is like a cool aqua blue, and then you can do system, which is blinding territory. Now, most people probably aren't going to use light mode, even though this actually isn't even the original light mode. This is not what OBS used to look like, but this is the 4. I just use default. Second, we're going to connect your account. So I stream on Twitch. The first thing that you can do is connect your account. You can use a stream key if you don't prefer to connect your account, but there is a reason for direct Twitch integration. So click connect account and then just log in like normal. So now that I've logged in, you can see that it is already connected. Now the cool thing about this is that when you click apply, you actually get direct dashboard integrations. That's what the important thing about linking your account is now, because you no longer need to use Streamlabs OBS. Looking at you. Don't use Streamlabs OBS because everything you need is right here. And the cool thing here is that you can actually go up to view, go up to docs, and then open your Twitch stats. So if you want to see, I've got 125 subs right now on Twitch, got 6,200 followers, and we got 43,000 views. And all of these things are dockable. All you do is just grab the little box and drag and drop it over here. This is exactly how I run my OBS setup. Now, if you want, you can actually even add one more doc that is your activity feed. So if you want to see your follows, your gifted subs, your subs, bits, tiers, everything, it's all right here. So you can have all of these docked here if you want. You can have it so that everything you're monitoring, you don't need to have your actual Twitch dashboard open. It's all readily accessible for you right here. Speaking of dockable things, number 3 is actually going to be your stats box. Now, I've talked about this in other videos, but the reason it's good to have a stats box is because this tells you exactly what's going on in your system. It's like that paperclip dude from Microsoft Word. It's more like just your buddy that sits down there. I always have this doc right down here. So basically what this tells you is that your rendering frames, your lag, your encoding lag, and then it also monitors your network so that if your internet's dropping, it tells you that right here. You don't need to look at this very often, but everything is right here if you need to know what. Number 4 is a fun one because it's about custom streaming resolution. So you can go into your settings and in your video output tab, you actually turn on by just streaming at 1920 or 1280 by 720. You can actually type in custom resolutions, and if you've ever stopped at my stream, I actually stream at 936p, 1664 by 936. This is a perfect 16 by 9 ratio that is the perfect sweet spot for a 6,000 bit rate between 720p and 1080p. The thing that's really convenient about this is that if your computer can't even do 720p, you can actually go even lower than 720p while keeping it at a 16 by 9 ratio. You know what it is. You can type in custom resolution. You've probably even seen 900p on a couple streamers, but we've actually found out that 936p is the perfect sweet spot for an exclusive slow encoded preset at 6,000 or even 6,000. Now, if you're on a single PC streaming setup and you haven't watched my encoding video yet, go check that out. Well, I talked about this briefly, how you can save power. You can actually disable your preview right here just by right-clicking on it and then enable preview and turn that off. That will save a lot of encoding and rendering if you have a weaker streaming PC. Very helpful. You just won't be able to see everything that's going on. What's also convenient is that you can also change the preview scaling. Like right now, it's set to scale to window. So basically, if you drag this around, it will constantly change. However, if you change it over to canvas, it'll actually zoom into what your base resolution is, or you can also set it to your output, whatever you're actually streaming at. Now, I leave this scale to window because sometimes I need to adjust things on the fly, and this is more convenient rather than trying to slide things around. Now, the 6th one is called scene projection, so I'm going to turn on one of the sources that I added in here. It's a selfie from a couple years ago when I still had short hair. And what you can actually do, if you have a multi-monitor setup, or even a single monitor setup, this is a really nice way to look at your scene. So you turn it on, you right-click it, and then you go to full screen projector, and you click it, and now you're actually seeing this scene in full screen. So now, if I need to like look at
Location
something, I'm
secure.
really nitpicky with the
Maintain
way that I
current
set
posture.
the scenes up. So I like to
Enemy
make sure
is
that
Charlie.
everything is lined up just so. Everything is nice and
Losing
tight.
A.
Now, this face cam
Enemy
is all
sentry turret
perfectly within
detected
sight.
in your area.
And I like to make sure that I do that by using the full screen
Securing
projector. Now, one
Charlie.
of the ways that I actually make everything look so clean and get it all lined up perfectly is called
We
source
lost
snapping.
A.
So source alignment snapping
We're
is
being
right in the
dominated.
general
Get
settings here. Make
aggressive.
sure it's enabled and make sure
Charlie
that,
secure.
because it's default, that's not going to be turned on. Make sure you turn that on. All three of these boxes are checked. I like my snap sensitivity setting to 10. So when you click on this, let's say it's smaller, right? This is my
Hostile
face
counter
cam.
spy
Now when I
plane
move it,
above.
you can see it's actually snapping
Enemy
to the
napalm
edge. So
strike
it's kind of like
incoming.
pulling it in
Yeah,
right
hit that
there.
motherfucker.
Close out
And
the
right
wind,
there's the
then
center.
door it again.
Right there's the center. And that's it. That's all. And what this also allows you to do is if you have
Taking Bravo.
a face cam overlay, it'll actually allow you to snap it right to the face cam while other sources are
Nice.
enabled, so long as you have all three boxes turned on. The eighth thing is actually being able to custom crop and reshape things and distort them. So if you hold the Alt key and then grab one of these little squares right here, what you're actually going to do is start cropping. You see how it's not moving, but it's actually taking away. And the little green highlight right here, that lets you know that this side is cropped. And you can do that with any of these. And you
Securing
can just do it
Alpha.
right on the fly. And this will make it so if you don't have like a perfect 16
Losing
line
Charlie.
face cam, you can actually crop it. That's how I have this camera set up. So
They're
this
dominating
box
us.
is
Go on
actually
the
a
offensive.
16:9 turned on its side,
locked
and I just
down.
cropped out holding the Alt key and shrunk it down to about that. That's a rough estimate, but that's about what it looks like if I were to show you in my
Taking
actual OBS. Another nice feature is you can actually distort image size. So let's say you have an overlay that's not a perfect 16:9 and you want to make it fit. If you hold the Shift key and grab one of the squares, you can actually make it fit to any size you want. Now, if I let go of the Shift key, it's going to snap right back to its original source. So make sure you're holding the key until you make it fit for whatever you need it to. So just remember, Alt crops, and then
Switching
Shift
sides.
distorts. The ninth thing is actually being able to use the arrow keys to fine tune this. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to zoom in on the preview scaling so you can really see how this works. And so make
Take
sure
the
you're clicked on the
objectives.
source that you want to move. And if you use the arrow keys,
Securing C.
you can actually fine tune exactly to the direct pixel
Pulling
that
ahead.
you want. Now the reason that this is really useful is that
Enemy
if you have
took
a
A.
two-monitor setup, what you can actually
locked
do
down.
is use what we talked about earlier on the full screen projector, make it show up, and then on the other monitor you can actually move it with the arrow keys and see just down to that last pixel what you're trying to get. And that's how I get my face cam exactly inside of my overlays every time. Okay, so the 10th thing we're going to talk about
Come on,
is groups.
take A, man.
Now,
Take A.
when you start adding
Taking
everything
Alpha.
to your stream, like your overlay right here, and then your face cam, and
Enemy
then your
napalm
mic,
strike
and then your
incoming.
notifications, and anything else, all that, you're going to get a lot of sources. Yes, and one of the ways that I like to clean all of this up is to make it a group. So what you do is you hold Shift, and then you click everything that you want to highlight. See how they're both like a nice blue now? Right-click them, and then go to Group Selected Items. So what it's
secure.
going to do is it actually puts them within a folder, and we'll just call this face cam group.
Get the
Right?
Bravo.
And now what you can do is if you
Enemy
toggle the
sentry
eye,
turret
it'll
detected in
actually
your
turn
area.
the whole thing on. Really convenient.
Bravo secured.
Now we're just going to wait for one thing. The 11th thing
Bravo.
to add on top of that is I
Bravo.
like to color code my group. So if you right click on that and then go to set color, you can set your face cam to purple. Boom. And if you highlight all of them, then set the color, it will actually set each one. But you don't really have to do that. I like to just set the folders to color because then it'll be easier to see if you have the colors or the folders open. So now if I have a folder here and then I have a red folder down below, you'll be able to see the colors separating each one. Either way, your preference, but you can color code and also group them. Now, we're going to talk about one that's really fun and can give you a lot of advanced ideas. This is called Scene Nesting. In the face cam scene, this is the source we're going to be looking at. This is like
Behind us.
right? So this is what you're
Losing
seeing me
Bravo.
in right now. So on here, if we were to add a filter and a color correction, let's say we turn the contrast up, right? Now if we were to go into the gameplay where I'm in the face cam overlay, it's also affected that one. We don't want that. We only want the one
We
in
lost
face
Bravo.
cam to specifically be more contrasted.
Securing B.
Now we're going to turn this filter off.
Right
So what we're going to
side.
do is we're actually going to create another scene
that they're gonna
with
win.
the face cam in it, but we're going to put the filter on that scene. So we're going to go what's called into the nested scene. We're going to go into here, and then we're going to actually add the filter specifically to the scene, not the source. So you go into filters, and I have one already pre-made, and this is just going to turn the gamma up. So now we've got this in here. So now this is how it works. Now you would think it's going to affect it in the other scene, but it doesn't. And the reason is because we put the filter over the scene, not over the source, right? So now what you can do is actually go back in and add a scene as a source. It's not confusing enough as it is. As a scene, as a source, and then add the nested selfie. So now you can actually toggle between having alternate things without directly affecting it. Just understand that you have to put the filters on the scenes rather than on the sources. Otherwise, if you affect the base source, it will affect every other one. So one of the most important things about having a good stream is making sure you understand the audio and making sure the levels are set. Now, obviously, you can just drag the sliders around. I've talked about what you should set. Sound good. I also made a video on making your mic sound professional. If you haven't checked that out, check that out. Now, one of the things that I like to do is I like to set my desktop audio at about a -8. That usually is pretty comfortable for notifications and anything else that's happening on the system. But you can actually go into the advanced audio properties, and then you can also lock the audio. Now, you do that by clicking on the gear and just clicking lock volume. Now, the reason this is important is because I like to use my scroll wheel a lot, and sometimes if the scroll wheel is touching this, it will actually start moving unintentionally. So by locking your audio, it will never move. Even if you click on it, you can actually go back. Now, it's not going to be very common that you're moving your audio, so that's why I like to do that. Once it's set and everything sounds balanced, make sure that you're the main focus. Then there's the gameplay and the notifications. Just lock it, and then you never have to worry about it again. So the 14th thing that I want to tell you about, and it actually belongs to lock it, hide media sliders. So what I do is I have an animated overlay here that's considered a media source. It's not actually making any sound, so I don't need this slider. So all I do is I mute it just to make sure that if anything ever bugs out, there's no audio coming through. And then I actually just go in and hide it. So now it's back to being clean. Now I can see my desktop audio and I can see my mic source as well. If you ever need to access that, all you do is click unhide all, and it goes right back up, and they are in alphabetical order, so you'll be able to find it right away. So number 15 is custom face cam. So when I used to stream, I like to have a custom face cam overlay that didn't look like other face cams. You can actually add a mask and make your face cam look any way you want. And you do this by going into filters, and then you're going to add an image mask blend here, and you're going to make sure to change the alpha mask, the alpha channel. What that is going to do is actually going to remove the negative space, the thing that isn't there. So this image here actually is a direct shape of this rectangle here. So now if you look, my face cam specifically looks like this. So how this filter works is it operates by using a ping file, PNG, and then whatever has an alpha layer transparency, it will remove from the source that it's been applied to. So I'm using what's called a bubble mask. It literally just uses the same image, and then I apply it directly to it. And then if I wanted to, I could put the bubble outline in there, and it would sit directly on top of that. So why don't we do that? We'll add the image, and we'll just call it image, and then we'll browse, and we'll do the bubble outline. And then all I would have to do is resize it to where I want it. Gotta play around with it a little bit, make sure the edges touch. Use the arrow keys to fine tune it, and there you go. You now have an overlay. Speaking of streaming, if you haven't, feel free to go follow me over at twitch.tv/pixelperfect. I'll leave a link in the description down below. Don't forget to also hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel to help me grow. I greatly appreciate it. We already have almost 400 members in the Discord, and I've made a couple free goodies and overlays as well as outlines for you in there. They're free for you to come in and get. Just hop into the Discord. Link in the description down below as well. Number 16 is custom stinger transitions. That's this little box down here in the corner. Now, what this does is it actually makes it so when you jump from scene to scene, it looks fancy. So basically right now it's just cutting, right? That's just a hard jump. It's jarring. It's not enjoyable to look at. So what you could actually do is change it to, let's say, a fade.
I ain't playing with nobody named Saucy.
How long it takes to fade between each one. Now that's really basic, and a lot of people either use just cut or fade. You can also use slide or swipe. But let's say you want to add a custom stinger transition. You can actually go down here and click add stinger, and then name it to whatever you want. We'll just call this one Nova, for example, and we'll hit OK. And then we're going to go find the file that it is. Now, this is one that I have used specifically from Nerd or Die, and this one's just called Stinger Transition. And then they gave you 5 colors. This is from their Nova package, and I absolutely love this one. So we're just going to add the blue one because they don't have purple. Hit open, and then you would think you're done, but first we're going to show you how it works. So we have the Nova one selected, so when you hit it, you see how it changed before the Stinger Transition even initiated? We actually have to go back into the properties of that and change it. So we're going to change the time to frames. Now I stream at 60 frames per second, and each Stinger Transition is going to be different. You just gotta kind of fiddle around with it until you find the sweet spot. I'm going to guess 60 seconds is here. Now if you want to hear the Stinger Transition every time you change a scene, you can actually change the audio monitoring to be monitor only mute output or monitor in output. So it'll actually make it so only you hear it, but stream doesn't. Or you could do it so you and stream both hear it, but I leave it off because I don't need to hear the transitions. I just let that happen on stream. And then I always make sure that I have this set to crossfade. If you set it to fade out and then fade in, what's going to happen is every time you change a scene, your voice is going to go really quiet, and then it's going to come back in. And that's really frustrating. If you let it crossfade, it's actually going to make it so that your voice stays consistent all the way through each scene. So always make sure that it's set to crossfade, monitor off, and then you can even click preview transition. So now, you see how it's gone? It's changed. That was too early. You saw how it changed the scene still before it actually blinked? So what we have to do is try and guess, we'll say 80 frames, and then preview transition. Still too early. So then you just set, we'll say 90 frames, preview transition. And that was actually just a little too early. We'll set it to 100 frames. Preview transition. It's going to go. Boom. Now you don't see the scene change. Go over, and when you change this, it's going to go.
Shit hurt. Oh. Oh. All right. Yeah, I did something wrong. So then you got your subscribe, right? Where are they? So I think the fall ball, 20 at the source. We're getting there. We're getting there. We're getting there, y'all. We are getting there. Hold up. Wait a minute. Chat box. Oh, yeah. Actually, we need a chat box. Chat box. Nothing special. But I think chat box. What is the chat box? Probably, hello?
Hello, this is an important message from Ohio Edison for Marcus. Route